Yo, what up, everyone? This is LeetCode 189 rotate array. In this challenge, we are given an integer array nums in which we are to rotate the array to the right by k steps, where k is non-negative. So if we had an array of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And we had a k of 2, what we would look to do with this is have the array rotated in this orientation. So these basically come back around here in like a carousel kind of rotation. Anyway, so the steps that we'll be taking in this, so we'll be first writing our reverse function, right? And then because we're given k, essentially to make this code run efficiently, we will be calculating the effective rotation of our integer k by taking the modulus of k with the length of the array, ensuring that k is within the range of the array length. So what we would be doing is that, let's say we had an array of size 5, right, of length 5, but k is, for example, 7. In this case, the actual, let's say, the effective rotation is actually only 2. So only two positions would be moved. Everything else would kind of move the same way, right? So in this case, what we'd have is then we'd reset k to be 2 because that's the exact same as having k. We'd have the same result as k is 7, right? So, like I said, so we're going to be reversing the function, and then we'll be finding out their effective rotation, and then we will be reversing or rotating our array, right? And I'll just give a very quick explanation to the rotation part, right? Because when I code it, it won't make sense. So I need you to keep this in mind so that you understand it, right? So let's say we have our array again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and our k is 2 again. In this case, what we'd be looking to do is rotate these two to here, right? So we'd end up with, but in the case of how the code works, it would look a bit more like this. We want to reverse these 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, right? And then take our k of 2, reverse this so that we have 4, 5, but this will still be 3, 2, 1, and then we'll take our remaining elements in our array and reverse them so that we end up with the desired result, right? So that way we get to what we were initially looking for. So in terms of the code, what this looks like is, if I can get the tab open, there we go. So what this looks like is, so we'll first get our length for our array, right? This is the part where you know how I said about the calculating effective rotation? This is this part, which is k modulo n, right? So this is fine. This is setting our k to be an effective rotation of whatever we're given as k, right? And then we can leave this for now. We'll come back here, but before we write what goes in there, what we want to do is write our function, right? So this function we will call reverse, in which we will have our integer array nums. We will have our integer start, and we will have our integer end, right? And and then we will use a while loop. Don't know why that came out funny. So in which we start needs to be less than the end. Cool. Okay, so we're going to start with our temp variable, right? And this temp variable will essentially, what we're looking to do with this reverse function is quite literally reverse all of the elements in the index, right? So the index given to it, or the elements given to this function, it will reverse them. So as we said earlier, how we're going to take a certain section, reverse it, or reverse the whole thing, and then take a certain section, reverse it, another section, reverse it, and that gives us our result. So in this case, we will be having our temp function, which will be equivalent to the start, right? And we will then have our nums start, which will be equivalent to our nums end, rewritten as our nums end, not an equivalent, right? Our nums end will then be what our temp was, our temp integer. And we will then increment start by 1 and decrement the end by 1, right? And so this is our total function. This is what our reverse function is. So now we can call upon said reverse function, in which we will then reverse our entire array. So we have nums, we have the start of 0 index, and we have n-1, which is our length, but we because of the way the indexes work, we start counting from 0, so we will take away 1 from it. So that's reversing the entire array, right? So I'll just put that here, reversing entire array. Okay, so then we then want to reverse now our first k elements. So this was, remember how I was saying, we've now reversed it. We're now going to reverse to put them in the correct order, or an ascending order of the k elements in this case. So nums starting from 0 again, because they've been moved to the front. However, it's now going to be only up to k, right? So this is reversing first k elements. And then finally, we'll be reversing our these will be reversing the final remaining elements, sorry, which gives us then our result, the result we're looking for. So this will then look like, so if I submit this, oh, problem, int n equals nums.length. Of course, I spelled something wrong. There we go. And we get a decent result, or a good result, decent memory. And that's it. I hope that, although it's a little bit complex to understand, or a little bit difficult to understand, I hope that, clears it up a little bit. And if you didn't understand it, try to read through the code and see exactly what the code is saying. I would suggest reading this and then reading this afterwards, just because it makes sense, because then you understand what reverse does. And then, but it is as simple as it can be. This is kind of how it works, right? Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful. If not, if you got a problem, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, like, subscribe. Thank you. Bye-bye.